up, Dokkanners? Welcome back to Toonami for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Today's video is all about the full power category. With the new Omega Shenron, the full power category just became so much easier. And I'm taking it into the full power super battle road. From the title, yes, I'm sticking with it. Global first, no item, full power super battle road. Now, some of you may disagree. Some people might have already done this. The fact, you know, I should have assumed that, because as I beat this, I was overwhelmingly ecstatic about the fact that I did this, that I also failed to really acknowledge. I think I was just in denial, but I failed to acknowledge that if an idiot like me can do this, that means that at least like 10 other people on the planet have done it. And my suspicions ended up being true, apparently, according to Twitter, when I went over there to flex and celebrate this monumental accomplishment. For someone like me, this is a huge deal because this is the very first, I believe, this is the very first Season 3 no-item run that I've ever done. Of course, I'm taken down a peg or two because I'm slapped with reality. Reality is that I am not the first to have done this with Omega Shenron, I guess, but you know what? I don't give two shits. This is a global first. This is the first time that a moron like me did this on YouTube. This is the first time that it happened with Cell being at 69%, maybe? This is the first time that it happened while I was eating a bowl of soup. This is the first time that it happened while somebody was singing Ariana Grande. I don't know. And if you really need me, you gotta. There could be any number of global firsts, so the title is still accurate. Okay? No one is going to take this away from me. I don't care what you say. So this is one of my biggest, most recent accomplishments, and I'm very proud of it. Basically, the idea behind this team, as you will be seeing definitely on many, many channels to come, it's all about nerfing. The way to beat this is to nerf the opponent into oblivion, led by, obviously, the Omega Shenron, because he can nerf the opponent by 40% just by being there. Not to mention, the Golden Frieza Angel is a great ally because he can do crazy damage, and he also nerfs the opponent's attack by 15%. You also have the STR Perfect Cell, who reduces the enemy's attack and defense by 20% as a passive. And then I actually was having a little bit of a tough time trying to decide between adding the Demon King Piccolo or not, because the Demon King Piccolo, while he doesn't have a passive that lowers the enemy's attack, as you will see in another video, Demon King Piccolo is excellent for Super Battle Road because he can greatly reduce the attack of an enemy, which is basically, I think, 40%. I don't know the exact percentage. I'll post it in the edit. Yeah. But he can do a little bit extra. So basically, like, if you're in a situation where you've nerfed the enemy with a couple passives and it's still not enough, and there's an enemy that's still doing a pretty decent damage, you can throw in Demon King Piccolo in there. He can hit him with one super, maybe two if you're lucky, and you can basically take him down as far as you wanted him to originally with those passives. That nerf is extra effective, and you'll see that in another video coming up where I run the Extreme Strength Super Battle Road. So anyway, back to this team. The idea was to have nerfing be the main component, and then we have tanking, led by the Golden Frieza. You cannot do this. I can guarantee... No, I'm not going to say that, because the second I guarantee it, someone will do it. But I can almost 100% guarantee you cannot beat this no item without Golden Frieza, because he is the best tank to have on full power to go into this. And I was honestly trying to decide if I wanted to just focus on tanking as opposed to nerfing, and then I decided to just go with the two. How this run went, this is actually not my first time doing this. I'm going to be completely honest. This was not my first time. My first 3 or 4 attempts, I literally got to the very end, and I was about to win, but then I lost because I didn't do enough damage, and the opponent had like a sliver of health left, and then he supered me and killed me. I think one other time, I didn't calculate how many orbs I was supposed to have picked up, and I ended up not having a super at the end, which was supposed to have been my final super, and I died. So there were a couple really tragic losses at the beginning, but I would say for someone like me to get that far on my first try just speaks a lot to how far full power has come, simply from Omega Shenron. Because while I'm trying to get all the praise in the world for accomplishing this thing, it would not have been possible without Omega Shenron. This is all an ode to Omega Shenron, because without that attack minus 40%, it completely changes the dynamic of this fight. Not to mention, even with the int cell and his healing, if you don't have consistent damage reduction, it's not going to matter. And the fact that the Omega Shenron is the one that does that for you just shows how much more important he is. He is probably the most important for this run. Then the close second would be the Golden Frieza. After that, you could say int cell, or maybe the Perfect Cell, STR Perfect Cell. So, and then there can also be the argument that, you know, you beat this with Perfect Cell or int cell as your safety net. Well, he's usable, he's fair game, so I'm taking it. Maybe at a later point I'll decide to do a no cell challenge. I'll probably do that. There's always something to do in Dokkan, as I've mentioned, so right now my priority was doing it no item, and I did it. By the way, if you can't tell, this is a recording post Super Battle Road run. I had been doing this quite a bit that it was getting really annoying because, as I mentioned initially, my first few runs were very, very successful, and I was able to get to the very end and I lost because of really, really bad luck. After that, I went on like a 7-game or 8-game losing streak where I had the worst rotations to start out, and it just was downhill from there. There was one point where I had both Brolys and I believe the Golden Frieza as my first unit. My Omega Shenron was the final unit, so he wouldn't show up for 2 rotations. So with the first rotation being such garbage with 2 Brolys and a Golden Frieza, my second turn I had less than 50% health, which meant that my Golden Frieza tech guy wasn't going to be using his passive. His passive is entirely predicated on his health. If he's got over 50% health, he reduces damage by 80%. If he's got below 50%, I believe his attack goes up, but his tanking goes down to like 40. So it was things like that where I kept getting really, really bad rotations to start. And since you have no items, if you don't have a good rotation to begin, you're done. So at that point, I got so fed up. I was just like, you know what? I might as well try this at some point. Let me try doing a silent Super Battle Road, and then I can do some voiceover afterwards in post. So that's what I'm doing. I'm reflecting. I'm from the future, talking to you in the past, although I've pretty much given it away. So here we are on the second stage, Goten and the Videl Gohan combo. For this one, I actually had a pretty easy time for the most part. Most of my problems when attempting this no items came from the first section and the final one. The second one was pretty much the most consistently manageable because the Tech Goten and Trunks were really not a problem. I always had either Golden Frieza tanking their hits, or I had the Perfect Cell or the Int Cell with his type advantage to always take whatever damage we took from the tech guy. The only problem was the Gohan and Videl, but we always took care of them because of all of our nerfing. And the healing, man, I love that. I love that. From the moment that we got LR Int Cell, I knew that this guy was going to be special for Super Battle Road. I know that his passive and the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's passive were a letdown for a lot of people, but the instant that I saw his abilities on that one stream, I don't know if it was a stream or whatever Dokkan Direct that they did, I knew that he was going to be a great Super Battle Road asset, and he really is, and I wouldn't change him at all. Like, he doesn't need to be broken in every facet of Dokkan. If he's a monster in one particular way, that's fine with me. That makes his value as high as it needs to be. I personally don't prefer LRs to be so broken and so powerful they can be usable in every single event and still be equally effective. So the fact that he is kind of a niche LR is perfect for me. So unfortunately, as you see here on this run, I had to have my Dokkan attack take place here. On several of my previous runs, including the first few where I almost won on my first few tries, I was able to run through the first 2 stages and completely annihilate the units before I even got my Dokkan gauge up to maximum, leaving my Dokkan attack for the final round, and it actually turned out really well. I think I used the Dokkan attack with either this Broly, the big boy Broly, or the transformed Perfect Cell, where he would then use his Mega Colossal attack. Unfortunately, on the final stage, since the enemies are int and physical, the Mega Colossal multiplier and all that stuff from the Cell is still not very effective on the physical guy. So I think out of my many runs, my most effective Dokkan attack ended up being from this guy, the Big Boy Broly. So here we're almost done with Gohan Videl. We had to burn that Dokkan attack, so at this point I'm just trying to begin the process of recovering that gauge in case I might get to a point where I could use it in the final fight. But I don't believe I end up doing that. Because I think right here we kill Videl. Yeah, so we don't even get a second round to build our gauge. So we're basically at full health, and we have no Dokkan meter at all this entire fight. So here I'm just kind of sitting there on the map, thinking about what's to come. Oh my gosh, am I about to lose again because I did too well? That was my exact thought going into this. And also, I started thinking about how hungry I was because I hadn't eaten anything. Still haven't. I need to go eat something. So here we go. We've got attack minus 40 thanks to Omega Shenron. We've got attack minus 20 thanks to the middle guy, the STR Perfect Cell, and then we've got the int cell at the end. So here I'm trying to decide between keeping the two nerfers together or adding the int cell as the second unit so that I can have a way to heal should the worst happen. And I decide to keep the cell, the EZA cell instead, because double nerfing is more important than having a free heal. Because if you can just maintain nerfing the entire fight, the time that it would take for you to actually need to heal would be much higher. It would take longer for you to actually need it. So with attack minus 60% effectively active on this turn, I didn't think we'd be taking too much damage, which is why I kept these two together. Plus, if we do take any damage, the 11 key super that you see there from my cell, perfectly executed by the way, does two things. One, it does mass damage, so it attacks everybody, but I believe with a higher damage multiplier than the typical mass damager. And you heal 10%, so now we're back to full health. So any and all damage that we take will probably happen here on this final slot, with the type disadvantage being int versus physical. But I don't think it amounts to much. Yeah, we took 51 damage, so that was a good call on my part. I'm very proud of that. But unfortunately here we're a little bit, we're in a little bit of a risk here because we don't have a second nerfer. We only have the 15% reduction from the Golden Frieza. But then I realized, hey, wait a second, we're in the final stage. This is where the physical Brolys actually pull their weight. So I decided to have Broly now take part, because up till now, he's been a liability. It's kind of like the Legendary Goku event. I remember running those movie boss runs. I think I ended up doing it 4 or 5 times. Movie bosses was all about keeping Broly safe and out of harm's way, and then unleashing Broly on the final stage, which is kind of like what's happening here. It was kind of a toss-up, honestly, between having Broly go first on this rotation or having the Tech Golden Frieza go. I ultimately decided going with Tech, just because there's more attacks, possible more damage, and I feel like an 80% reduction on all of them mathematically checks out better than having type advantage from a weaker defensive unit. So yeah, I think I made the right call. And we were also able to set up for some potentially lethal damage on the physical Saiyaman duo, because with the new EZA Tech Golden Frieza super attack being upgraded to immense damage and massively lowering defense, were I able to have received a second additional for the Golden Frieza, that would have been a lot of reduction on the defense, leaving this guy to do cleanup. I don't think he actually takes him out, but he does a lot more than he could have had he gone first. So that's why ultimately going with Tech Frieza first was the best choice. Now, unfortunately, next turn, I don't know if I actually am going to be getting a nerfer on this rotation the next time these guys come back, because we have now a tank and we have Broly. But next turn, I don't know if we're going to have another nerfer. Let's see. We've got... yeah, next turn we don't have any nerfing. We have the Perfect Cell, we have the Broly, and we have the Golden Frieza. So right here, we really got to make it count. We got to take out that Saiyaman duo. So I'm trying to decide once again who I want to go first. I think I decide with Omega Shenron, because he has the higher stats. So if he picks up the red orbs, we'll heal just a little bit more. And when he attacks, he will massively lower defense, therefore ensuring our victory over the Saiyaman duo, then leaving the int guy left, which will be a huge advantage for us because we've got 2 physical units with massive type advantage. And I think this is the last turn that we're going to have regular Blolies. This is the last turn we're going to have the regular Brolys. They're going to turn into big boy Brolys. And at that point, ooh, you gonna die? Say your goodbye, Saiyaman 1 and 2. 22k, that's child's play. 'Tis a mere flesh wound. Say goodbye to this planet. Oh, you took him out yourself. I forgot that. So there you go. There goes the second to last unit on the Super Battle Road. And now all that's left is type advantage for Broly. 79, 35. Sometimes it's really hard to accept that Broly has some pretty decent defense. And this was one of those moments, because I was really reluctant to even keep him on rotation even though he has type advantage. And honestly, in this particular situation, I did think that I should have switched him out, but we didn't end up taking a whole lot of damage, so we're just fine. Welcome, big boy. Big boy Broly. Do it, Broly. We're still over the 50% threshold, which keeps my Golden Frieza safe. But just to be on the safe side, I think I decide to go with the Broly. Yep, I decided to go with the Broly instead. Let's just get all the offense going first. And at the very end, I think, yeah, I was just kind of going for broke at this point. I think statistically speaking, it's still better and more intelligent a move to go with the Golden Frieza as the first slot. Even though he's got type disadvantage, he reduces damage by 80%. That's just too hard to pass up. But because I saw the finish line, I decided to hell with it. We've already lost many, many times. What do I have to lose? So I just went for broke. And we had Big Boy Broly go first. Frieza with the secondary. Yikes. He massively lowered his defense. And now, will Cell take him out? Will he? Will he? Honestly, I'm asking myself because I don't remember. I just did this like an hour ago. Okay, so it didn't work. So here we are on the final turn. Now it's just a matter of really deciding, are we going to commit and are we going to end this now? That's why I am putting the Golden Frieza Angel in harm's way at the end. He's facing 4 or 5 super attacks. If I'm not able to kill these two guys right here, right now, that is GG. But thanks to the massive defense reduction of the Omega Shenron plus a tiny little additional, we're able to go in for the lethal. Thanks to Big Boy Broly. Do it, Broly. And there it is. Global first. No item, full power, SBR. You are not taking this away from me. I did do it, and I did it myself, and I am damn proud of it. I beat it. No items. And I even screenshot it, because that's how happy I was. I forgot that the mic wasn't on at that point. I really wish it was, because I said some stuff, and I made some noises, and you guys would have liked it.
Say my name!
So there you have it, folks. That is the end of this run. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of this playback sort of format where I record the footage and then I kind of talk and reflect about it afterwards. Let me know if you're a fan of it. Also, do I deserve credit for this run? Global first, no item, full power. Do I deserve any credit? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click that notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it.
Say my name! Say my name, motherfucker! Say my name!
Thanks again, stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly. Global first!